فکر بهبود خود ای دل بکن از جای دگر، کاندر این شهر طبیب دل بیماری نیست.
The word for breath and wind is the same word for spirit in many languages. In Persian poetry, this word is Nafas.
Hi, welcome to Texas Nafas. I'm Rick Williams. Behind us is Fareed Mohammadi, the producer, and you can catch this program at www.channelaustin.org because it'll be showing any number of days and nights throughout this month, whichever month you're watching it in. I think it'll be July. You know, you may be hot and sweaty and want to watch this show in the coolness, but anyway. Today we have the great pleasure of introducing you to Nick Hanna, a darkly romantic poet, i.e. romantic as in prophecy of the heart. Nick Hanna.
A lot of the poems I write are based on a place I come from. My family comes from Cherokee in Santa County here in Texas. And yeah, a lot of my work is about that. This is 4 poems for summer. 1, Supplication. After the pink house, a ragged tangle of pasture, then green water sleeks glossy mossed bottom, and pecan trees green weltering space. Water murmurs its name, which is the sound of God, and thirsty earth turns full-blooded to receive it. Everything desires immersion, God's tendriling finger touching center, drenching long drops and light. In the country of the pink house, this is referred to as grace. 2, Aberration. That spring, the green water behind the pink house demented into a white-capped river. The western sky spat fevers, viscera spilling over carved battlements past giant pecans, swallowing the pasture whole. One of Van Maddox's cows was tossed around like a fat tree limb, impaled on a splintered stump 7 miles away. A fawn that clung to a pile of debris louged past the pink house, awed by the strange new world of gush and torrent, bloody tongue at the ready, longing to caress the dark deliverance that waited downstream at journey's end. 3, Invocation. In the pasture tonight, Papa's burnt-out stone house shone under the whole moon like a ruined, shrunken Rome. Past the peach orchard on the way to the pond, the grasses moaned long and low, lilting strains of threnody deepened by sunflowers, large as dinner plates, beating heavy shadows along my feet. I know how long the plow has rusted beside the withering dogwood tree. The sun unlooses chaos on temporary things. I saw the sky black with locusts summers ago when the sun wasted the tomatoes and shriveled the pond, small and tame as a wash tub. The dried mud was split and peeling, and the grass, shivery and mean, when the sluicing cloud passed over, and a great white owl began to scream on the high bank of the western rim, like a forgotten child bawling across the leavings of a Caesar or a Khan. The sun begets confusion on temporary things. The cicada sings past dark sometimes during the full moon, and in August they'll sing straight through the night, and the fictions of 3 a.m. are ended by the undulation and urgency of noon. Tonight the apple cactus will bloom its chaste flower, and even the rattlesnakes will sleep and dream of fat bullfrogs, and the scorpions will dream of locusts, of soft bodies that shudder under their tender venoms. The sun designs its vision on temporary things. Behold how golden earth is beneath its glittering wounds. 4, Desolation. Cherokee Creek is dry. and the sun glares down from the midday sky like a psychopathic demiurge, sagging across the horizon, spoiling for a fight. The pasture averts its eyes and tries to keep still. Surely night will come. It hasn't rained for 73 days. Cherokee Creek is dust, and the grass is brittle like the husks of locusts, and the burrs are keen as green mesquite thorns. The prickly pear's yellow flowers sear purple, and the pasture shines lurid and white beneath the mean drunk sky. It hasn't rained for 99 days. Cherokee Creek is gone, and sky and earth hum together, a stupefied, rhythmless song that must be the music of death, or the sound of desert heat, or the obscene language of sun, too lucid for anyone, made brittle as summer grass. It hasn't rained for 116 days. This is called Winter Quartet. 1. And this is about a place that my family's place in Cherokee. It's called Spunky Holler. 1. Red wind in the holler. At the bottom of the holler is a joining of springs. Within a wood so dense and low, seasons come and go in tiny increments. The black soil is cool and carnal, and the grass is sparse, and even the cedar is stanched by the gushing arc of oak, pecan, and ash that blots out the sun. The water is pure and cold, and every season the busy slope is littered with the bones of those who coveted its sweetness, lulled against their senses by whispers and trees, among the smell of damp earth and ruse of night, when the moon induces fevers on the willing and the tender. 2. North wind. Long drops of rain were streaking the clay road, a deeper red, when the wind shifted from the west. A crazy, rudderless whirl at first, shaking free dried leaves and acorns and stirring them with dirt, swirling into tiny gyres that fluttered, short-lived and euphoric, along the holler's edge, leaving ghostly plumes of scattering dust in their wake. The damp smell of oak and creosote and juniper loosed in the air once the first surge of north wind cleared the tree line. Blue-black sky looming, wind gradually bolder as it rolled overhead, till the norther ripped in as if the judgment had come, rain changing sideways, gushing drops, suddenly an angry stream that skipped along the big spring surface like furious stones, sun giving full anarchy upon earth, dream kingdom winking from its crevices. With evening came calm and a brittle wind, and at least one lane that opened for the dead, and everything in the pasture was still for a while. 3. Dead sow. Gnarled and split, she is opened and emptying, given beneath a graceless code, chrome and steel, dirt riven and glistening, ruptured order, sudden as fire. Boned and blooded, her meat to the nightmare, her wound a dark river that snakes in the dirt. She lunges with teeth glinting red under taillights, wavers and sinks nearer this cactus land. A supplication come from the high grass, leaded chamber, and then wider, cruel feral eyes. A strangeness that looms just over her shoulder erupts in an instant and craters her sky. She cannot tell the worm from the root when she swoons to find the shivering light, just wakes to summers dripping with acorns, blood drunk under an indolent moon. 4. The brood. They were on the scrawny side, her squalling rat-sized orphans, and the moist heat of her sanctuary was already dim in their memories when the last of her was suckled. She was twitching but gone, and even all of her was never enough for the blunting of their hunger, insatiable in their panic, sharper than the bristles that mimic the contours of their soft spines, or the spindly tusks that butted eagerly toward half-formed snouts. And now it was all they could remember, because she was milk to them, if she was anything. And this time, when the milk dried up, they felt the frigid north wind at the end of their suckling, felt it blow across the clay road over their bodies but into their mouths from her, until they were inhabited by nothing else. They began running back to the tall grass, then over the red clay, trying to outrun the immensity of it, to thaw just enough to be hungry again, but colder every stride, until they reached the briars on the edge of the holler and felt its warm red breath rise up, inviting them home.
The nature, the wounds and the blooms, the work reminds me simultaneously of Annie Dillard's nature work. And I was thinking of imagining Larry McMurtry as a poet. He very much part of Texas, and that San Saba and Abilene and all that kind of.
A great admirer of his, yeah.
Yeah, he's a brilliant novelist, and much of his work is very poetic simultaneously. And there's this love-hate relationship with nature, with the land.
Yes.
You both exploit it and are exploited by it. And
well, as a human, I think we rather resent the fact of how temporary we are, and we love the earth. We can't help loving the earth as sensitive people, but it's becoming more and more apparent by our experience that we are temporary here.
yeah, although I was struck in the first poem by the glittering wounds.
Well, obviously a play on all that glitters isn't gold.
Mm-hmm. But yet wounds are glittering. I mean, the wounds, I tell my daughter, you can't be open till your heart is broken. That opens you up to the world. And so that the wound...
Yeah, I agree.
That the wound is a place where the gold is, much like in the alchemy,
by understanding our place
mm-hmm.
in the world, we can understand the world.
Right.
We can understand the earth.
Exactly.
And appreciate and love the earth in the way it needs to be appreciated and loved. That's the way I think, anyway. And that's what a lot of my poetry is about.
So simultaneously environmental and psychic, humanitarian, a humanist environmentalism.
Yes, I get that's very accurate, yes.
Okay. Well, let's hear some more.
This is the anecdote of the mill. Beside the rutted road of burnished clay, buffalo grass, mesquite, and prickly pears persist, uneasy harmony with bitter loam. Down the slope in the pecan bottom, the occasional oak appears, brazenly first, and certain near the creek's green water. There's an outcast there of horizontal steel, senseless and mute between diametrical ideas, reimagined to a foreign code. The mill race brackish water tells, and the rusted millstone seeds, immutable dominion for the unprofound.